Good morning from Boston. Welcome to Tennis Talk Daily, where you're going to get the most essential and the most insightful commentary on professional tennis, on the Australian Open. We are covering the Australian Open in depth right now, and we are in day 4. Day 4 is completed, and there are some very significant results. We're going to talk about Federer. We're going to talk about Djokovic. There are some minor upsets as well. First, however, subscribe to the channel. Again, this is the most insightful commentary that I can possibly provide, and I'm going to make the claim it's the most insightful commentary that you'll find on YouTube. That's what I'm trying to present to you. We're doing 2, 3, 4 videos a day, at least 2 throughout the Australian Open. This thing is heating up. It's getting exciting. I'm so happy. I'm so happy with how things are turning out. So let's talk about day 4. What exactly happened in day 4? Well, I had already noted, I did a video last night. I already noted I had made a soft prediction that the American Sam Querrey would end up prevailing against Fucsovics, I believe his name is, and the Hungarian, but Querrey couldn't do it. He couldn't hang on, and he was outgunned. So Querrey is out. That makes the 4th round look a little better for Federer, because Querrey was looking like his biggest possible competition in the 4th round. He might get Fucsovics now. We'll have to see. But in terms of the news, in terms of upsets, they're minor upsets, I would say. They're not huge upsets. David Goffin is out of the tournament, upset by Beneteau. And it was a good match, but it's not completely surprising. But listen, that's good for Federer too, because he's actually struggled. When Goffin's on, Federer struggles against him, and apparently Goffin crushes Federer in a lot of practice matches. But Goffin's out, so it's looking like it's, in the quarterfinals, Federer will not have to worry about Goffin anymore. It's going to be more like a Delpo thing, which is equally, if not more problematic for Federer. Stan Wawrinka out, beat by the American tennis Sundgren. Not so surprising with Wawrinka. He was struggling, and that is basically was an expected result. I didn't predict that he would go very far in this tournament. Right from the outset, it seemed like that was going to be the case. In other news where people struggled a little bit more, Thomas Berdych did squeak by in 4 sets in his second round match. Zverev dropped a set, but ultimately prevailed. I'm talking about Alexander Zverev. Misha Zverev is out, retired from the tournament. He dropped a set to his German counterpart, Gojowski, but Zverev looked pretty good. Listen, Zverev, he's looking a little shaky, to be quite honest, and we're going to have to see just how he does. I've predicted that he could very well make it into the semifinal against Federer, but we're going to have to see. We're just going to have to see with Zverev. Again, he's dropped a set. His stats are not looking great. Juan Martín del Potro does get the better of the big server Kakhanov. That was a 4-set match. Again, del Pot dropped a set. It's 6-4, 7-6, 6-7, 6-4. So that was a kind of a close match, a bit of a close call, but del Pot was serving quite well, winning a lot of his first serve points, and so he ultimately did get out of that. The other kind of close-ish match was the Djokovic versus Monfils. And I'm not going to comment a lot about this. I would very highly recommend that you go over to Peter Freeman's, it's Crunch Time Coaching, and then they also have the Coffee Break Tennis that Matt Bradshaw does. But Peter Freeman has been doing videos. I think he's doing it like he's kind of staying up late. I think they're down in Georgia, and they have a little bit of a time advantage for me, but he's staying up late, and he did a very good in-depth comment on the Djokovic versus Monfils. But the upshot is that apparently Andre Agassi, Djokovic's coach, made the decision to, and they had the option to play at night in a cooler temperature or to play during the daytime, and Agassi possibly, this is what Peter Freeman suggests, that possibly Agassi said, okay, let's take Monfils in the daytime. Well, it was scorching. It was a scorching hot day. And it upset both of the players. They were just visibly sort of pissed off, to be quite honest. It was just too hot, and I think this was an unwise decision for Djokovic. Why? That's sort of masochistic. I mean, if you had the choice to play at night, play at night. I mean, come on. It's silly. It's silly and stupid. But in any case, Djokovic did drop the first set, and he was just playing terribly. And then Monfils, I mean, just kind of gave up. I mean, so this was... We were talking about it possibly being a test for Djokovic. Yeah, I guess it was a test for how much heat he can, tolerate and survive. But it was not much of a test in terms of the tennis. Monfils sort of gave up. And he just didn't want to be there anymore. Djokovic was again not in a great mood. It was the stats look okay. It was not. We don't get much evidence here. It was so hot that you can't really treat it as a significant match because it's just these unusual conditions that he's probably not going to have in the later rounds if he gets through. But Djokovic did make it through with Monfils, to make his record against Monfils 15-0 at this point, I believe. So he's doing quite well against Monfils. I questioned last night whether we could call this a test given the record. At that point, it was a 14-0 record. But Djokovic did just fine. He's through, but he was struggling, and I have a question mark about Djokovic. But the mitigating factor is that heat, which was absolutely scorching. Richard Gasquet looked very good in his match against Sonego. And he will be. Sonego's a very low-ranked player, and so it wasn't much of a challenge. But it does look like Gasquet will get into. Federer and Gasquet will be meeting in the third round. So Thiem also got through, dropped 2 sets to the American Denis Kudla, and then came back and swept the last 3 sets. So that was a very impressive feat of endurance. And then, and so that's about it for the matches other than Federer. I want to save Federer for the last. We had the Federer versus Struff match. Federer prevailed in straight sets. It was 6-4, 6-4, 7-6. Let me just say, let's take a look at these stats from the Federer match. This was a hard-hitting match, and I will say that Struff looked quite good. Particularly in the first set. This was just a hard-hitting, fast match. Struff likes to come to the net. He serves in volleys quite a bit. He was doing very well at the net. He was obviously trying to hit Federer on Federer's backhand, and testing Federer's backhand. And I think Federer ultimately passed the test, but in the first set anyway, Federer, I think, was a bit outgunned on his backhand, and Struff was just playing quite well. Again, you should watch this match. It was a straight set victory. I'm glad everything went as planned. Federer has not dropped a set so far in the tournament, which is a good sign. He's got the momentum, but this was a well-paced match, and Federer had to, really kind of, dig in and do his best in order to survive this challenge. And again, it was fast. Struff was just doing some really, playing some very good tennis. The stats look like this. Federer served up 17 aces. Fantastic. That looks really good. 1 double fault. Perfect. Keep going with that in terms of the aces and the low double faults. His first serve percentage was not great. It was 58% of his first serves were in. He won 83% of his first serve points, however, and he won 67% of his second serves, which is really, really good as well. So he's serving well. He hit 36 winners. 8 forehand winners from the baseline. 1 backhand winner from the baseline against Struff's 4 backhand winners. And in fact, Struff had 11 forehand winners from the baseline as well. But Federer had fewer unforced errors than he did in his first round match, which looks very good. In terms of and that's that's it. There were some great points. I mean, Struff really. There's the second set, I think it's the third game, there was just this amazing back and forth at the net, and Struff actually got the better of Federer in the point and ended up, they were both at the net and they were going back and forth a couple of times, and it was just a fantastic point, one of the best points of the tournament, if you ask me. And Struff just had some great net play. Federer was not coming up to the net much at all, and when he was making a few errors. But in general, I think Federer looking good. Again, this was a fast-paced match. Struff is a hard hitter. I mean, for a second, I was thinking, gosh, this is kind of like, it's reminiscent of kind of like a Nadal. Struff's a real sort of, he's a grunter. And it was just a very energetic, intense match. And Federer was up to the challenge and did very well. So, Federer's through. He'll be playing Gasquet. What are the other matches that we can look forward to in the third round? Well, we have the Marin Cilic versus Ryan Harrison coming up. And that's going to be interesting. Ryan Harrison is playing good, but Marin Cilic had some great stats on his last match. We've got the Nadal match coming up. We've got, of course, the very interesting Kyrgios versus Tsonga match, which will be really interesting to watch. I'm very much looking forward to that. Berdych will meet Delpo, which is interesting. So we'll see what happens with Delpo. Is the main threat for Federer coming into the quarterfinals. He has to get past Delpo because Delpo has given him problems. Thomas Berdych does not give Federer so many problems. So for those Federer fans, let's hope Berdych takes Delpo out. That would be fantastic. We'll have to see what Fucsovics does with Kicker in the third round as well, because that's going to determine to some degree Federer's fourth round. Dominic Thiem is going to be playing Mannarino. We've got the American Sandgren against the German Martyrer. We've got, of course, Djokovic, who'll be playing the 21st seed Ramos Vinolas. And then, of course, we've got Gasquet versus Federer. Beneteau versus Fognini is another one of those. So these are going to be some fantastic third-round matches. We're going to know a lot. Tomorrow morning, we're going to know a lot about how this tournament is going to turn out. And I'm probably going to revise some predictions at that point. But this has been great. Let me know if you have any comments about these matches, particularly about that Djokovic match. I'm interested, but also about Federer. I think he looked up to the task. I mean, he looked good. I mean, I think he was struggling a little bit on the backhand. He needs to get up to the net more. For some reason, he was hanging back, but the ground strokes look strong. He looks like he's in good spirits. He's playing hard. He's taking it seriously. He's very serious about this championship, and he is going to roll through to the finals and take and sweep this championship, God willing. Subscribe to the channel. This is going to be so much fun coming up in the next few days. Subscribe to the channel. Look forward to your comments. Give it a like if you like what you hear in these videos. My name is Aaron Knapp, by the way. I'm going to be introducing myself a little more by name, which is what Matt Bradshaw does, and he's kind of in a way, he's my model. I have a different personality as him. I'm not quite as funny as he is, to be quite honest, but I'm trying to work in a little bit more of that. But trying to give you the most insightful commentary on the U.S. Open. Tune in, subscribe, like the channel. Happy days. Bye-bye.